why do this many people think I'm a lady? Because I was freaking out for a little bit. Like, why do people just see me as a woman? People just see me as a woman. Okay, that's fine. Because, I've dated people that were like, I am 97% attracted to women. And I'm like, well, I'm not a woman. And they're like, well, I'm attracted to you. And I'm like, well, still not a woman, but I guess you see me as one. Okay, take two. The universe was created roughly 14 billion years ago in what we now call the Big Bang. Before this event, there was no space or time. All the mass of our current universe was contained in one single point called a singularity. After the Big Bang occurred, the mass from this point rapidly expanded and continues to expand to this day. The early universe was filled with fundamental particles like protons and electrons. Several 100 million years from the beginning, the first stars began to form. These stars became self-sustaining using nuclear fusion and began clustering together to form galaxies. In one of these galaxies we now call the Milky Way, a nondescript rock began to orbit a star. This rock was characterized by several unique temperature, pressure, and elemental conditions such that 10 billion years after the beginning of the universe as we know it, atoms began to behave in a strange way. These atoms, which would eventually become life, started to coordinate in a way the blue rock had not seen before. Soon, on the geological timescale, these atoms grouped themselves into self-replicating cells, and the process of natural selection began. More and more complicated and diverse life forms found themselves a home on the blue rock. Life dramatically changed the environment, and the environment dramatically changed life. 200,000 years before our current moment, humans made their presence felt. These upright apes began building tools, making art, and developing language, and 10,000 years ago, these apes began farming in a way which allowed their population to rapidly expand. A child is born on this rock, and when he first exits his mother's womb, he only knows a few things: warmth, hunger, discomfort, and love. His father takes him outside the hospital and below an oak tree. He looks up and wishes for his son to grow tall and strong just like the oak. He picks an acorn from the ground and keeps it. His parents love him and do their best to take care of him. The child slowly starts understanding that the noises coming out of his parents are meant as communication. The child becomes joyfully curious. The child grows older, and when he turns 18, his father gives him the acorn and he keeps it. He leaves his parents and grows more. At one point, the world sits the child down and asks an important question. The world looks at this boy, tall now and stronger, an infinite child of the universe. The world looks at this boy and says with the utmost sincerity, "Are you ready to open a 401k?" Welcome to the second episode of Curious Tom, folks. We did it. First one's out. Published it today. It's out everywhere. And so maybe you listen to that. And now I'm recording the second episode. Someone texted me right before I started recording this that they listened to all of the first episode, which is pretty impressive to me, because it was an hour and 15 minutes. So like I said in the promotional materials I did for this episode, and also at the beginning of last episode, I'm gonna do like 30 minutes, and that's partly because of time. And partly because, time that I have, partly because I don't think, well, someone did listen to the whole thing, which is impressive, but I can't picture someone listening to an hour and a half of that. But, and then also just so I can save time editing and all that. So they're going to be 30 minutes. I feel like that's much more sustainable. But yeah, I'm happy to finally be doing this. I have my own mic set up now, and I'm filming it. So I think I'm going to post this to YouTube. So for those of you listening, you could be watching. So bear that in mind. This might be on YouTube. This will be on YouTube. And what else? I mean, yeah, I was very happy to do it. It was hard to listen to it back. I have a hard time listening to myself. I'm okay watching my stand-up because there's like a confirmation in the form of laughter that people liked it. But with the podcast, I'm just talking into the void. But I had to listen to it to edit it and whatnot. So that was a little bit tough. But here we are. I don't want to talk too much about the podcast because I spent like 20 minutes in the first episode talking about like the podcast itself, and I feel like that's way too long, and I just want to talk about it. But that's enough self-criticism. I'm confident, I'm loving, I'm sexy. I have big old biceps. My thighs are getting bigger. I can't fit my hands around my thighs anymore. That's cool. That's new. Used to be able to fit my hands comfortably around my thigh, and now I can't no more because I've been going to the gym. Yep. Twink death incoming. Your boy's been going to the gym, to La Fitness, and I used to do it all the time in college, and I really liked it, and I just couldn't. I didn't have enough money for a gym, and I was also I was in France. They did have gyms. They do have gyms in France, although most French people don't look like they go. They look malnourished. Because they are. But I talked enough about French people last episode. And then last year I was hiking all the time. So now I can go to the gym again, and I'm going to get big and strong. And you're going to hardly recognize me from how big and strong I am. You're going to see me walking and you're going to go, is that Tommy? What the hell? Who's that big strong guy? Is that little Tom? Oh my God. It's little Tom. He used to look like a piece of hair. That's what he used to look like. He used to look like a piece of hair, and now he looks like a big jack freaking, he looks like a toad almost. That's what I'm going for. Toad bod. I'm going to look like a toad eventually. Big back, but like not big back as in fat, but like big back as in big muscly back. So yeah, I've been going to the gym recently. That's cool. I don't know. I can't remember why I started talking about that. But I did, and now we're here. And this is the second episode, and I'm very excited for that. The first episode, one cool thing that happened with the first episode is I talked about the Bible a lot, and I was talking about Moses. If you recall, if you listen to the first episode, I talk about Moses, and I was just joking around that maybe when God told Moses that he wasn't supposed to lie with a woman as with a man, he was only talking to Moses, and we shouldn't have extrapolated. Anyways, I think it was just something that I came up on the podcast, and then I was like, wait a second, I can do that on stage. Hold on a second. What the hell? That might work on the big stage. And then I tried it, and people have been really liking it. So it's one of my bits now. It's one of my bits about Moses. I think that's hopefully that was kind of the goal of the podcast, was to just like kind of riff out stuff that might end up becoming bits. So that happened once already, and maybe it'll happen again. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was how I think it would be fun to do a bit of interaction with the people who listen to this podcast. Which is just, in the beginning, it's just going to primarily be my friends. So I'm probably just going to reach out and ask that you, my idea with the interaction is you just ask me like scientific questions, or like just general knowledge questions, or like ask me to explain something, and I will do little to no research about it. And then I'll try to answer it on the podcast. So I won't look at them or do any research on the podcast, but I will try to answer them, and I think that could be funny. So I'm going to reach out and to people that I know maybe listened, and then I will try to answer them on the podcast. And then eventually, you could like DM me. So the release is going to be awkward because I'm going to have to record again because I'm going to be going to Portugal. I'm going to be going to Portugal soon. And vacation, and I'm going to Portugal. And so I'm trying to record 2 podcasts and have them in the bank. So I won't be able to like release this, and then it's not important. But basically, if you have an idea for a question, go ahead and DM me. And if you hear this and then your question doesn't get addressed by the next podcast, that's because I had to record it. But eventually, I'll just be recording it every week, and then I'll be addressing the questions that I get weekly. And so that'll feel like more of an interaction. Does that make any sense what I just said? Was did that make any sense? Also, I'm looking at my levels right now, and because basically I can't do live playback right now. Normally you see people with headphones on when they record podcasts, but I can't do that right now because I don't have the proper equipment. I don't have the trotter equipment. And my brother is going to send me a Focusrite that he has, and then I will be able to do it. So next episode, hopefully, I'll be able to do that. But I'm just kind of on a wing and a prayer right now. Last episode, I was standing too far away from the mic, and then this one, I'm just kind of looking at the levels on my laptop and hoping that it's good. But yeah, my brother's sending me a Focusrite because I think it was like 2 Christmases ago. This is the most stupid sibling argument ever. I'm embarrassed to tell you this, and if you're listening, I'll bleep out your name because, maybe this would be famous, and you don't want your name to be out there. You don't know the types of freaks that are out there on the internet. But my dad wrote a book. It is called Shades of a Warrior by Robert. Let me make sure I'm recording audio. Yeah, we're good. I am recording, not audio, but the video. I'm recording on my phone. But I wanted to make sure because that would suck if I had been recording and the video wasn't going this whole time. Okay, so my dad wrote a book. It's called Shades of a Warrior, and he recorded the audiobook. And in order to record the audiobook, he got like a Focusrite, which is like, I don't know exactly how it works, but it like takes some kind of audio input and then changes it. It waves its wand. It goes, you gotta change audio. And the audio's like, okay, I'll try. It's hard to make changes. That's a silly bit. But so the audio, it changes the audio. And anyways, my dad had one, and for some reason he didn't need it or like needed a different one or something like that. So he offered it to his 2 best boys, his 2 sons. And he said, which one he wants it? And we both said, yes, I want it. Because my brother had to record, something. I think he does music, so he had to record something on the cello. And I knew that I was going to eventually start a podcast, but I didn't know when. So I knew that I would eventually need something like that. So we both wanted it, and then we had an argument over who got it. And then I was like, okay, one of us can have it, but since Dad gave it to both of us, it's only fair if one of us pays the other half of it if that person takes it. Does that make sense? Like, it's not fair if just one of us gets it. We both got to get something. It was every time I go home, I get embarrassed because, like, you start behaving like you did in high school. So I was embarrassed about having that argument. But it does make sense. So anyways, my brother got it because I think he needed it more and more urgently, and he was right because it took me 2 years to start doing this. But anyways, I don't think he's using it now. I think he got something else. So I'm going to pay him, and he'll send me the Focusrite. So if you're listening, brother, thanks, dude. Anyways, the Focusrite will let me have audio playback, and that's a whole thing. And is that interesting? Is that interesting for you guys? I don't know. It's hard to say. So I got a bit, and I want to do questions, and I think that's all of the upkeep on the shop things that I'm going to do. Also, yeah, there'll be shorter episodes. Okay, one thing that's happening in Chicago right now is the freaking Air and Water show. You guys know about this? You guys heard of this? Guy who thinks there's an audience in his apartment. You guys heard of this? I like when comedians do that. Or I don't like when... Okay. You ever been at a comedy show and a comedian does that? Where they're like, oh, I've been on Tinder recently. You heard of this? And I do it often because it's a tool to I do it often because it's a tool to like engage the crowd, but then sometimes they don't feel like answering. And if they don't answer, then you have to address that they didn't answer. Or if they did answer, then and like weirdly, so it's like almost like pseudo crowd work where like you're kind of engaging the audience, but it's like clearly it's inauthentic is what it is. Okay? It's inauthentic. It's like, "Ooh, I'm your friend. I'm going to ask you stuff." Ooh, I'm your friend. I'm going to ask you stuff. But it's a tool, and it's a lie, and everything's a lie. Everything we do on stage is a lie, okay? I talked about that last time, and I talked about wanting to be honest. It's all lies. It's all lies. Actually, one thing, sorry, I'm going to talk about the Aaron Waters show in a second, but one thing I talked about, because I re-listened to the first episode before I released it, which was really difficult, but I listened to it, and one thing I talk about is writing stories for stand-up, and something I talk about how you have to sort of change the details of the story, or like tell it in a specific way that makes sense for the stage. You have to change parts of the story, because if you tell a story verbatim and then at the end you go, "That's interesting, huh?" That doesn't work. It doesn't feel satisfying, especially in stand-up. In order to tell a stand-up story, it has to be told in the format of jokes. And then in order to put jokes in, it's like impossible to tell the story with like 100% honesty. So I talk about feeling weird about that and how a lot of comedians just like, change the details. And recently I was on the Windy City Comedy Festival in Chicago, and that was an absolute blast. It was some of the most fun I've had on shows ever. So thank you for those people for having me. If they're watching, I don't think they are, but you never know with these people, with these fucking freaks out here. You never know who's watching what. I saw that I had 12 downloads already this morning from my podcast, and I'm like, which of you freaks are listening? But for the festival, let me take a sip of coffee. For the festival, they had these workshops, and one of the workshops that I went to was called storytelling for stand-up, because that's something I'm interested in. I want to eventually do stories in stand-up, and the guy who the guy who ran it is really great, and he was really smart, and he articulated really what I had been feeling, and his take was, it's okay to change the details. It's okay to not be 100% honest when you're telling stories for stand-up, because it's just impossible, and what you can do is tell the emotional truth. And the goal in storytelling, specifically in stand-up, is to have the audience feel the same way that you felt when the thing was happening to you. And if that's your goal, and you tell things exactly as they happened, most likely you're not going to convey the same feeling that you got when you were experiencing what you're telling. So it's okay to change it a little bit if your goal is to convey the same emotion that you had, which is the goal with storytelling. So that was his take. And anyways, I can't remember why I started talking about that, but I was talking about the Aaron Waters show. Okay, so the Aaron Waters show is basically what happens is the city of Chicago spends $10 or $11 million to have the Blue Angels, which are the jet fighter, the show. It's the show where the airplanes go. They go. You know that show? The one where they go. That show. I'm just thinking about how that's going to play for the video. I think it's funnier on audio, and it's going to be tough to watch on video. So, sorry, guys. That was weird. Okay. The Aaron Waters show. The city of Chicago pays $11 million. I think that's the number I heard. And I heard that from my friend. And if my friend was lying or didn't know, then I'm lying to you right now. And did I do research to confirm how much it was? I did not. And so I just want to let you know that. But I believe my friend who told me that. It's $11 million to have these 4 jets do this show. And it's like, okay. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. It's like, all right, it's impressive that humans built something like that. And that there are really well-trained pilots that are able to do that in the air. It's always impressive to me when someone is really good at something, or is like clearly spent their entire life dedicated to this thing, and then it's on display. So that's all the good things I have to say about it. That's the only redeeming quality I think this has, because you don't have a choice to experience the show. You don't have a choice to experience the show. You don't have a choice that you're going to pay for it with your tax dollars. You don't have that choice, and you don't have a choice if you don't want to experience it, because they're flying over the fucking city. They're going right over the city. And is it just one day? Is it just 1 2-hour time period where they're like flying over the lake and you can go out and go see it, and then like for 2 hours you can go away, and if you don't want to experience it? No. They start on Thursday. They started on fucking Thursday. They woke the city up at 10 a.m., flying low over the city, and I forgot what was happening, so I was like, oh, it's happening. Oh, we're dead. It's fine. It happened. It finally happened. It was bound to happen, and I felt it. It's been feeling like it's going to happen, and it's happening, so it's here. And, maybe a little bit of relief, I think. But then it continued for 4 days where they're basically, and I worked from home, and so I was in meetings and stuff, and so I couldn't work. I couldn't meet because these goddamn jet planes were flying super low. And look, I understand. I'm not opposed to the government using tax dollars to put on a show. I think that's probably a good thing, actually. I think that's something we should do. But the fact that it's a show that I am forced to attend from the inside of my apartment is absurd to me. And it only works in this context. It only works in this context. You wouldn't do that with, like, carolers or a choir. You wouldn't bring a choir outside of, like, an apartment building in the middle of the summer and then sing Christmas carols. You wouldn't do that. And not just because it's not Christmas. It's because that's something that's strange and bizarre. But for whatever reason, we're just okay with, like, super loud fighter jets to be flying that low over the ground. And in fact, one of them flew so close to a building near Lakeshore Drive that it shattered 2 goddamn windows. One of my friends knows someone who lives in the building. It shattered two residential windows. Like, how is this? We don't want it. And the other thing that I was thinking about is, imagine if you have fucking, okay, it's like a military thing. It's a military parade, whatever. We're super horny for that in the U.S. That's whatever. But imagine if you're like a veteran, and this isn't funny. Imagine if you're a veteran and you have severe PTSD from fighter jets. And then fighter jets are flying super low over your city. You would just have to leave the city. You just have to leave. Not to mention people with, like, noise sensitivity and all that. But, like, severe PTSD. And you're like, oh, shit, we're at war again. I thought that. I don't have PTSD. And I thought we were at war. So I can't imagine someone who's been to war, who is, like, sitting trying to enjoy a cup of coffee in their apartment, and then hearing, and they're like, oh, shit, I'm back. Oh, shit. Oh, boy. I'm back. I'm back in the war. And so yeah, it was very annoying, and some comedians and I wanted to avoid it, so we went to a park west of town, not west of town, in on the western, further west from where the planes were, and we thought we were gonna get away from the show, We thought we were going to get away from the show. We didn't want to go anywhere near the lake because we didn't want to be near the show. We wanted to have a quiet, nice Sunday afternoon. And sure enough, where we chose was right where the planes turned around. Sure enough, right where we chose is right where the planes turned around. And one thing about planes is they go fast and they go fast far. They go far fast. So I think it was kind of silly of us to assume that we were going to be able to get away from the planes because one thing about plane, they go fast. One thing about plane you got to know that you should know, it go fast. Plane go fast, car go kind of fast. Skateboard go faster than walking. Running also faster than walking, not as fast as skateboard. Speaking of a plane, you guys hear that? This is honestly a good test for my mic quality because I'm curious to hear if you can. That's just a normal plane. And that noise is, I don't know what that noise is. Lawnmower? No, leaf blower. That's a leaf blower. That noise is leaf blower. Hey, okay, I don't mind. Leaf blowers are some of the most obnoxious sounding. Oh, it's going so loud. It's going so loud. I hate leaf blowers. I think maybe I just don't like noise all that much. Don't like plane noise. Don't like leaf blower noise. Don't like skateboard noise. I don't like chair noise. Don't like electricity noise. Don't like carpet noise. Don't like hands when they rub together noise. Don't like chewing noise. Really don't like chewing noise. Don't like the sound of paper clips when you put them on paper. Don't like the sound of don't like this sound. Ready? Look at this. Nice. Pretty good. It's from the Windy City. It's from the Windy City Festival. Windy City Whoopee Cushion. They gave me one in there. Wait, sorry. I wasn't close enough to the mic. It's from the Windy City Festival. Look. Windy City Festival. It's from the Windy City. Look at that. Love the Windy City Festival, man. It was very cool. Okay, so I think I covered everything that I wanted to say about the planes that flew over. And, I saw Sinners, dude. Oh, Sinners was so fucking good. Holy shit, it was good, dude. What the hell? That was a great movie. Really liked it. Really liked Sinners, man. And it was there's a few more things I need to talk about. Really like Sinners. Really like the vampires in it. Some people said that they thought that it was like there's too many messages in it and whatnot. It's like, yeah, there's some messages, but for me when I saw it, what I saw was a cool vampire movie. Okay? Cool vampire movie, and it's been a while since Sinners has come out, but I had not seen it because I don't really be going to the theaters like that. Because I don't really go to the theater like that, and but I saw it, and I really liked it, and I saw it with my parents, and my mom had to walk out during some of the more violent scenes, but I really like the Irish song when they're like, in the merry month of May, off to reap the corn, live where I was born, and up to double and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna hunt the hare and turn it down the rocky road and all the way to double and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I did listen to that song a lot, and I did learn some of the lyrics, and I haven't learned all of them, but I was thinking that maybe I'll do a cover of it or something like that and post it to TikTok. Because someone else did that, and I said, I'll do that too. So I saw someone else do that, said, that's a good idea. Gonna do that too, I think. So I've been trying to, it's hard though, it's a lot of lyrics, and but I really like Irish tunes and I like Irish music, and I play the violin and I play Irish songs on my violin, and I was thinking that it would be cool to sing an Irish tune because I've never sung an Irish tune before. So I think I'm going to do that, and I also think that I'm going to play that character for Halloween. I think I'm going to be that character for Halloween. Yes, I do. I think I'm going to be that character. I think I'm going to have a shirt and some pants and a belt and like the suspenders. And I think I'm going to be that character, and I'm going to put some teeth on it, and I'm going to have some fake blood or real blood if I really feel freaky. And then I'll go out and I'll be a little slut on Halloween. So that's my plan. Okay. 2 more things. What do I want to talk about first? Okay. We're already close to 30. We'll go a little over. I think that's fine. Okay. The first is the Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ad. Okay, I feel like I don't want to argue for or against it being a Gen X ad. I think the best take I've heard was someone who like studied marketing and was like, they knew what the fuck they were doing. Okay? And it was very intentionally built to be plausibly deniable. But the intention was to create outrage and spark outrage, and then their stock price soared because the stock price soared because there's a large market of people that right now that when they think that people think something is racist, they go, I'm gonna buy that because I like it. Like that lady who called a baby the N-word and then got like a few $100,000 from a GoFundMe. What the fuck? What the hell? So my understanding right now is that there's just racists out and about looking to buy stuff that they think is racist. So, so I think that's what they were kind of tapping into. That's my take. Sorry. And I think they knew what they were doing, and they maintained plausible deniability because good genes doesn't necessarily means good white genes, but that's what it feels like when you watch her saying it. The thing that I want to say is that Sydney Sweeney is just impossible to listen. I'm sorry. She talks like someone who's had a lobotomy or something. Like she talks, I have good genes. I have good genes. The genetic makeup of your genes is what gives you certain personality and traits. I have good genes. My genes are blue. Like her voice is just grating to me. I can't listen to it. It sounds like someone who received electrotherapy or something, and there's the speech center of their brain was just a little touched, and that's fine if that's you. If that's you, I don't want to make fun of people with speech impediments or anything like that, but it sounds like she looks dead behind the eyes. That's not all of it is, because there's people who have speech impediments where I'm like, you have a soul. But Sydney Sweeney, when I hear her talk, the manner of her speaking is like, you ain't got no soul back there. Who took your soul and what they do with it? Because you ain't got one. You don't sound like you have one. You don't sound like a real person. You ever hear someone who sounds like that? Who's like, it's like, where are you? What happened to you? What happened to us? And that's all I want to say about Sydney Sweeney, and is that I think they knew what they were doing, and Sydney Sweeney ain't got no soul. That's from Tim Robinson, if you don't know. We're allowed to show him nude because they ain't got no soul. Okay, last thing that I wanted to talk about is that I went a little viral on TikTok again recently for a joke that I've been doing for quite some time about bisexuals. And I've told it so many times that the words out of this joke don't feel like words anymore. But it's a good joke. I have to remember that. It's a good joke. And I posted it a few times to TikTok, and both times I've done this. The first time this happened, a lot of trans women followed me because they sort of saw some traits in me, and they were like, you might be trans. I'll check back on you in a few years because you might be trans. And so a bunch of trans women followed me the first time, and then the second time, way more. So it like the same effect happened, but like way more, way more, way more, way more, way more. I think it got like 800,000 views or something like that. So maybe some of you from that video are listening to this now. That would be cool, huh? That'd be cool. Hello, if that's you. Hello. Yeah, so a ton of trans women followed me because well, I think a lot of them are like, well, you might be trans, and I'm following you because of that. And maybe some of them also are just like, I think he's funny, so I'm going to follow him because of that. And either way, welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm cis, but I appreciate it. And it means a lot to me that to me it like, you know, the reaction to someone coming out as trans is just very, or like the indication that someone might be trans is always received, at least in the trans community, with enormous positivity and excitement. So I think that's a good thing, and I appreciate that a lot. That if I were to be, which I'm not, but if I were to be, I would be welcomed with open arms. So that's a nice feeling. Not to make it sound like I'm curious about being trans again. I'm cis, but that does make me feel good. And then other, you maybe also people just think I'm funny. So happy that that happened, and maybe it'll open some more opportunities for me with more like with more TikTok followers, and maybe I'll get some more views and stuff like that. Either way, it doesn't matter. But that's cool. Maybe TikTok will show my videos to more people. I don't want to milk it too much. I don't want to cover that topic too much because it's like realistically, there's not too much more I would have to say about it. I thought I would talk about it here because it's something interesting, but like in terms of what I'll be posting to TikTok, I posted like 2 follow-up videos. One where I was like, what the hell? I'm freaking out. Why do this many people think I'm a lady? Because I was freaking out for a little bit. Like, why do people just see me as a woman? People just see me as a woman. Okay, that's fine. Because, I've dated people that were like, I am 97% attracted to women. And I'm like, well, I'm not a woman. And they're like, well, I'm attracted to you. And I'm like, well, still not a woman, but I guess you see me as one. So that was like throwing me for a little bit. But then it stopped bothering me at all. Not that it was bothering me, but it like I stopped thinking about it too much. I was just like, it is what it is, and people will see me how they see me, and I'll see me how I see myself, and then we'll move forward with the world, and that will be that. That will be that. And then my other thought too is like, I don't feel like, okay, I feel like a cis straight man, but I don't identify with cis straight men hardly at all. Like barely, like not even. I don't associate with their kind, okay? And I'm not trying to be like pick me or anything like that, or like jerk me own dick. But it's just the truth that I don't really, outside of comedy. In comedy, I have like straight male friends, and I like them. But outside of comedy, the people who I choose to spend my time with are almost exclusively gay men or women or trans people or whatever, just queer folks. I spend almost all my time with queer folks. And so I don't identify very strongly at all with straight men. And I don't know what that means, if that means anything. I think maybe it's going to sound like I'm jerking my own dick here. It's going to sound like I'm jerking. Oh, also I have some friends from back home that are straight men, and I love them. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm not friends with any straight men, but straight cis men. Okay, what was I going to say? Okay, yeah, it's gonna sound like I'm jerking myself off. I think because someone commented this, and then I was like, that makes sense. There are characteristics associated with straight men that are often perceived as toxic or negative, like aggression or jealousy or whatnot. Some people might call it toxic masculinity. I don't know. But there are characteristics that a lot of women and a lot of queer folks have associated with straight men because that's what it is. That's what we've done. We have those traits, and people have associated with them with us. That's what happened. Okay, and so if you are a straight man, and not to sound like, ooh, I'm aware of it, but if you are a straight man and you, like me, where I am just like super, and this isn't a good thing necessarily, but I'm like super, super tuned in to how I am perceived. I'm like really, really, really locked in on how people are viewing me. And I really don't like the idea of being feared or people feeling unsafe around me. So I really think about that a lot. I really think about that a ton. And so I personally feel safer and more comfortable around queer people. And I think that a lot of them feel comfortable around me. And so it gets associated with queerness. And that's fine. But I think that's what it is. But I was talking to my friend briefly about this, and we're gonna have a follow-up conversation because she's therapist. Not to say that she'll give me therapy, but she has interesting and insightful things to say, and she's also queer. So maybe she'll have some thoughts on that, and I can update you. So yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about today. What did we cover today? We talked about the podcast. We talked about the bit that I got from Moses. I don't know if there's going to be any bits from this that I get. I don't think I was riffing as much as I could have, but that's okay. I got that Moses bit. Okay, yes, just as a reminder, questions. So if you want me to, if you think it would be fun or funny for me to try to explain something, I think it would be a good exercise, like a good improv exercise for me to try to do it, and I think I can make it funny. And I think it would be fun for you all to ask a question, and then for me to try to explain it on the podcast. So DM me with your questions. Burp, sorry. We talked about the air show. We talked about the TikTok that did pretty good, and we talked about Sydney Sweeney. Episode 2. Oh, also, I never addressed what I did in the beginning. Should I? I guess I just like doing comedy that's important. That's me. I like doing comedy. I like doing a bit and people going, wow, this guy's smart. So that's what that was. Just something I wrote this morning and thought it would be funny to share it with you. And that's all. Episode 2, Curious Tom, out.